Coming to America is back. We've got one of the singers who helped make it wonderful, Lydia René. Today on Brandon Live.
We can do better. Hey y'all, welcome to Brandon Live. I am out of hibernation, working on my doctoral defense and all that stuff. And so, but I really wanted to talk about coming to America. It's been about 2 weeks, right, Lydia?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it's been out for 2 weeks, and we finally got a chance to sit down and talk. Welcome everyone, Lydia René, who's one of the vocalists on the Coming to America. I'm so happy to have you here today, Lydia.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Lydia, I've known you for, I don't know how many years I've known you.
I don't either.
I knew you were in Philadelphia at one point. That's
where I started.
And then you ended up in LA. And happy birthday to your daughter. It was yesterday, right?
My husband, and yes, it was yesterday.
Well, okay, clearly I can't read the post because I saw love. I'm like, and I saw a picture of your daughter. I'm like, okay, that must be her daughter. And oh, well, happy birthday to Mr. Vickers, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, I'm so crazy. Happy birthday. And we've been friends on Facebook, social media for a while, and you've always been so pleasant and talented. And I remember like last year at some point you said you posted something about being in Coming to America. And I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome. We had a short conversation, but when I was watching Coming to America, I didn't even pick up that you were, that you were in there. I'm just like, well, maybe she's in the like oohs and ahs at the end. I didn't notice until I saw you post on, social media, and it was actually one of my favorite songs that you posted. And I'm like, that's Lydia! And it was from actually when the scene where she comes down the stairs, the queen comes down the stairs to this lovely music.
Right.
Let's just play what you posted on social media.
To be loved, oh, what a feeling.
Oh, okay. Here, I didn't warm up for that one.
Oh my. That was good, Brandon.
That's my favorite
That was good.
That's when they can sing when they do that. That little like yodel kind of thing. So when I saw that, first, I thought it was a famous person because they put a picture of the woman. And I'm like, I'm not really good on pop culture, so maybe I don't know the singer. But to see that you sang one of my favorite songs in the movie, I was so happy for that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It was fine. I'm so glad that I got to do it.
Yeah. So how did you become a part of this project with, Jermaine Stegall, who also went to my undergrad. Well, he got a master's there, but he went to University of North Texas. But that's where I went to school. So that's pretty cool. 6 degrees of separation.
Right.
Involved in the project.
So me and my husband met Jermaine a couple years ago, just through circles because, me and my husband are both in the music industry, and my husband is always meeting different composers. I'm always meeting different composers. So we met Jermaine, and we all just kind of became friends. My husband is really easy and amazing to get along with, so everybody loves him anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to my husband.
Shout out
but,
to the actual birthday yesterday.
Right. So we just became close, we're sending each other Christmas cards
Yeah.
and, we'll have like little family get together things and stuff, just being regular friends. And then he called us one day, like, guys,
Yeah.
we don't know if it's official yet, but I could be composing the next Coming to America. And we lost it because I was like, that's such a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Even though he is a very experienced and seasoned composer, that would have been like, the biggest opportunity thus far for his career. So honestly, I was just really excited for him. And that was pretty much all I thought about it. And maybe like a couple months later, he's like, you're going to be singing in this. And I was like, really though? Am I going to be? So I was like, well, and I told my really best friends, I was like, guys, I might be singing on Coming to America, the sequel. I was like, but I don't know yet. We'll see what happens because, in this industry, things change. People get cut, people get, it doesn't pan out every single time. So
let me tell you, like,
I know.
I know that you could be getting ready and then you never hear from them ever again.
So by the time I got pregnant, I was very pregnant. That's when we got called to do the first studio session. This is pre-COVID. Yeah. So it was about 10 of us in the room. And I think that's the post that you saw. Because Jermaine was posting about it, how great the session went. And that's when we did Midnight Train to Zamunda, which is what Gladys Knight sang in the film. That song is funny.
Yeah.
But that's us singing all the backgrounds and all that kind of stuff. So that's when we did all of that stuff. It was about 4 or 5 songs we did at that studio session. And that was back in 2019. And Jermaine called me and told me again, you're gonna have to do a solo. He didn't really give me any information as to what this was, and I was just like, oh, a solo, because I really honestly had just prepared to be a part of the ensemble that sang throughout the entire film. So fast forward again to now we're in quarantine in 2020, but all the music has to be finished. So there's 8 of us singers that had to do the entire score from home, over 20 cues, along with a solo from me.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how I got the job. He told me back in 2019 that I was going to have to sing a solo. And it's really because my voice fit the song so well, as opposed to anybody else that was, in the ensemble. Everybody's an amazing singer. We have Grammy nominated people. We have Carmen Twilly in the ensemble who sang Circle of Life and The Lion King. We have Mr. Alvin Chia who's in Take 6. We have the ensemble for the movie was amazing. So I'm just glad to be in the number.
Yeah,
the ensemble.
Come on, in the number, the same. And you marched on that film. Now, you you make me laugh. I'm always laughing at you online. So before pandemic, it was like, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
We had to go into lockdown.
Yeah.
How did you feel about like having to complete the project in lockdown?
Thankfully, because of our good and faithful, well, I'm not gonna say that. Thankfully, because of the government, we got some stimulus checks, and we were able to upgrade our whole studio. We had to buy a new computer. Our computer crashed.
Yeah.
While I was trying to do other projects, and I was like, this won't stand because I don't know how long we're gonna be in quarantine. This is my work. Yeah. And even though I was giving my husband a side eye at how much money everything was costing, I was like, we got to get this. And it's like, by the grace of God, we upgraded everything. New laptop, new mic, new software, new everything. I mean, by the time we got that call, we had everything. We were covered. We didn't need anything, thank God, because I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah.
So it was definitely daunting because now we're having to wear multiple hats. As a session singer, you're used to just coming in, you read the music on the page, you sing the song, you deliver what the composer wants, what everybody wants, and you're done. But now we're having to be studio engineers, we're having to mix ourselves. We're having to bounce files down, label them, do all these things that people in the studio who do this all the time do, but now we're having to do it. And I think it was definitely an experience for all of the singers, because we don't usually have to do this much. It's fine if you're doing one song, but then you're like, here, 20 songs. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing 3 days. So it was a rough week, I think, for all of us, a rough 3 or 4 days. And then with my husband helping me, thank God, he was my engineer that helped me record everything. We had a snafu with the computer where everything was lost right before we got finished. I had one song left, and he's like, well, the files are here. I just can't find them. And I was like, oh, Jesus. I almost had a nervous breakdown, Brandon.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm finished. I was like, if I can't turn in these files, they're not going to hire me to do anything ever again. I was like, I'm done in the industry.
Yeah. Lydia, that must have been so stressful to like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then add a baby that keeps waking up. Add the fact that someone else called me in the middle of this crisis. Right after we lost the files, another client called me. Can you have, Lydia, I know this is last minute. Can you record this song and have it to us by 8 a.m.? And I was like, yep, I can. And I did it. And we had it to them that night. And thankfully, by the grace of God, and I am not even joking about this, my husband found the files and we finished everything at like 6 a.m. Wow. And I passed out.
Wow.
I passed out on the bed, and then my daughter was up like, hey, how y'all doing?
Time to get up.
I know I was a zombie for like another week after that. But you know, it's so worth it. It really was. And during that whole process, I didn't, you don't really realize how big of a deal this is because you're just trying to do your job. Yeah. You're just trying to get the work done. You're trying to make sure the files are clear. You're trying to make sure you're singing the correct notes on the page. Because remember, with each cue, we're having to read sheet music for every single cue that Jermaine had so beautifully written and composed. So yeah, it was daunting. We leaned on a lot on each other. They called us the vocal Avengers because it was only 8 of us and we sounded like, a 50-person choir. So we did it though.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it was a daunting task, but I'm sure you learned so much from this one experience. I mean, putting together like this magnificent piece for this movie in your bedroom, in your apartment, and having to, I can imagine having to do it in 3 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
It was a very short window, and it was very important that I did it correctly and on point.
Yeah.
They were like, listen, Lydia, you got to nail this.
Because this is a cult classic, with Eddie Murphy. Were you in touch with anyone from the cast? Everyone probably wants to know. Like, did you did?
No.
Y'all did that?
I know. I wish maybe one day. But no, we're the music department, man. Yeah. We're the unsung heroes of the musical aspect of the film.
The music is so important. That's what you remember from the first one. You remember the dancing scenes. You remember chocolate, sexual chocolate. You remember all. What's the one? The Jerry Curl. Soul Glow.
Yeah, exactly.
And the singing to the Queen. Queen to be John Legend who did that. So the music was an integral part of the whole film, and so it's more than just the music department. It made the film, and so you're now part of a legacy.
That's true, man, and I'm grateful because Coming to America is one of my favorite movies, even though I was an infant. Yeah. When it was first released.
Wait.
Okay.
We don't have to talk about age.
88, right?
Huh?
88.
Okay, I'm a little bit older than you probably, but
Okay.
maybe.
It
I'm
doesn't
from
matter.
83, so
Oh, okay. So I don't know if I was formulating words yet when this film was released.
yeah. But it's it's been on TV. I feel like every day of the week on
Literally.
since it came out. It's been on TV every day of the week since it's come out.
Yes.
And so yeah, you're definitely a part of that legacy. So you did this about, you said 2019.
That's when we started.
Yeah.
That's when we started. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna come back and blah 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 blah. Oops, COVID. So October around Halloween is when we did the solo and we finished up the rest of the score. Halloween 2020.
Now, is that a typical turnaround? Because that's October and then it came out in March. Is that's pretty quick?
Well, I'm not going. I don't
3 days, but like
I don't want to misspeak because everybody has their own separate timelines. Obviously, Jermaine has his timeline and he has to have all these files in order for, them to go in the editing bay and be able to mix and, do the thing with the film. But because of COVID, I think a lot of things got halted because when they filmed the movie, that was all pre-COVID. Nobody had to wear masks or, anything like that. Cause I think people that watched it thought, oh, he did this during COVID. And it was like, no, a lot of it was actually done at, 2019 ish, before COVID and the quarantine and the masks hit. So they had gotten a lot of it done back in 2019. As far as our timeline, we're just kind of beholden to the vocal contractor and he's basically the liaison between the musicians, the singers, and the composer. I just happen to be friends with the composer.
Yeah.
So I talk to him because he's my friend, but typically that will not happen. We're speaking with the vocal contractor who's also listed in the credits. His name is Jasper Randall, and he's done everything.
Okay,
you look at his IMDb, he's done everything, every movie ever. So he's a very accomplished vocal contractor.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of beholden to what they're like. They tell him we need it in 3 days. We're doing it in 3 days. That's just kind of what it is.
And you made it happen because you've built relationships with these people. How important is it to build relationships in Hollywood?
Man, it's so important. It's very important because people might not remember you, but they're going to remember you if you were mean or nasty, if you had an attitude, if you were unprofessional. They might not remember if you just kind of came and did your job and left, but they are going to remember if you made a negative impact. You know what I'm saying? You remember the people that was like, oh, I don't remember all of them, but I remember that girl because she got on my nerves. And you know it. You know it too. So I think it's important to be very nice, to be very sweet, to be professional, to be early, to keep in contact with people. Sometimes I just hit people up just because, and they're like, oh my God, I remember you. And then they call you for something else. Send thank you notes. And that's in the acting world and the music world. I try to send thank you notes after people book me for things. Just being a really nice person will get you far, but also delivering things early and better than they expected, I think has also helped me, especially on the trailers that I've sung on, those relationships that I've built, the people that do the movie trailers, those composers, they will call me for all kinds of stuff, and that's what happened in between the coming to America thing. I got a call like, oh, can you give me this to us at 8 a.m.? And I did, because relationship.
Yeah. So when you say singing for trailers, what does that mean? What are you actually doing for?
I am the voice on the movie trailer. So basically they'll say, oh, we want to do this song, and usually it's a cover or a song that's in the film. So like Lady and the Tramp, the real life version. What is the term? The live action.
Yeah, live
The
action.
live action version of
Mhm.
Lady and the Tramp. They wanted somebody that sounded like Janelle Monáe to be on the
Mhm.
trailer, but Janelle Monáe, she's busy. Also, Janelle Monáe has a price tag that comes with that name. So I was the one that sang Bella Notte for the official trailer. Because that's the song that they wanted. And when it comes to stuff like that, there's so many people that have to look at it and so many people that have to approve it. It went all the way up to the director of the film,
Wow.
and they have to say, yep, this is okay. And then your voice makes it on there, because I almost didn't get that one because somebody was like, oh, I don't know, maybe it should be a man. And people just make decisions in rooms that I know not of.
Yeah.
And they change things. So that was a blessing. But usually there's a composer that comes in and they do the mock-up of the song, and they have a singer that they do it. And I'm the singer. And so I sang Bella Notte for the official movie trailer for Lady and the Tramp. And, I was able to do some Amazon shows, Man in the High Castle, The Perfect Guy with Sadal Lathan and all of that. So I'm the lead vocalist that's singing on those different things.
That is so awesome. And this is not singing, on these projects. It's not anything new for you. You've been doing this since before 6. You started playing piano like around 6 years old, it says.
Yeah, I did.
Like, how did you get involved? Like, what was that like, as
So,
playing piano?
my dad plays. My dad taught me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Donald.
Shout
He's
out.
a piano teacher.
Nice.
And a worship leader. So essentially my dad was like, you will play the piano in this house. If you are going to live in this house, you will be playing the piano. But it was cool because I kind of took to it kind of really easily. And I kind of started to get on my dad's nerves because instead of reading the music on the pages that were in front of me, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be reading Minuet in G, and I've memorized it. And I'd be like, oh, blah, 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 playing along, and my dad would take the paper away and I would still be playing the song. Because I hated reading music, which is so funny because I have to read music to be a session singer. But eventually my dad was like, girl, bye. And he sent me to his music teacher, his piano teacher, Miss Marge Ritchie. And I studied with her from middle school to college. And she was amazing. She was 84 when I started with her. She's, no longer with us now. But I think she lived to be about 105 or something crazy like that. And that's how I learned how to sight read. That's how I learned how to play and, do everything that I do. She played with Duke Ellington and all of them. She was way back. She was way back in the way back.
Wow. I'm sort of sad that I didn't have a game for you where I put notes on the screen and you have to sight read. That next time you come on, you're gonna sight read. And it's gonna be like impromptu sight reading, and we'll see what sounds come out of your voice.
I'm so glad.
Yes, that's what we're gonna do. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do next time.
And they'll be like, she's a fraud. Next.
Oh my God.
We have our tips and our tricks now. They give us the starting note. We don't just magically, I think it's a C. They give you the starting note and then you go from there. So you have a start.
Yeah, we're going to test it out. So you do music, and I've seen posts of you in promotional ads, and how did you get started in that also?
Commercials?
Yes, commercials, promotions. I've seen. Was it like Ulta or some one of those brands?
I did.
Yeah.
I've done Ulta. I'm in Benefit Cosmetics. If you go get some concealer, I'm on the website. I was also in the stores too.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm shade number 11. Shade number 11.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness.
How did I get started?
Okay, so since we're talking about shades, what do you think? What my shade would be? It's kind of.
I'm not a makeup artist.
I don't know.
You're trying to get me in trouble, is what you're trying to do. I don't know. You are a beautiful shade of brown. We're all beautiful.
Yes.
Everybody's beautiful.
So you've done promotional ads.
How did I get started?
Yeah.
So commercials. A friend was like, "Oh, I have an audition. Do you want to come with me?" I was like, "I don't act. I don't." I was like, "I don't really." I was like, "This might be bad." So she's like, "Oh, it's just a choir. We just got to sing a song." And I was like, "Okay, I'll come." Blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, it was for a Super Bowl commercial. We almost booked it.
Yeah.
That was my very first audition. And I was like, wait a second. I can come here and sing and get stuff. So I ended up self-submitting to a AAA ad, and I booked it on my own, which is very hard to do because usually people have agents, they have people, and they have the things. And I booked it, and that's how I was able to get signed up with an agency and start getting sent out on legit auditions. That's how I booked Chobani Yogurt with my friends and my husband. And that was major because it was a SAG National commercial, which is huge, and you get residuals from it, and it aired during major football games and all day and all that kind of stuff. And it was me singing lead. What the world needs now is love, sweet love, for Chobani Yogurt.
Nice.
That's pretty much how I got started. As far as modeling goes, it's something I always wanted to do. And I started, again, self-submitting myself on casting websites. I booked Dia & Co., which is a subscription box. You know, those little cute subscription boxes with the little clothes. And they're like, oh, you get a jacket and a shirt and a and a shoe this week. So I did that. And that was fun and amazing. But I was doing a benefit concert for homelessness in downtown LA. And a woman was there that happened to be a modeling agent. And she literally sent me a message like, who is your print agent? And I had literally just gotten rid of my agent. Yeah. I was like, nobody now. She was like, would you like to come in for a meeting tomorrow? And I was like, yes, I would. And that's how I got signed to my modeling agency. I was scouted, which, you know, that sounds so like I was scouted, but really, honestly, I didn't know this woman was scouting me. I was just like, oh, this is great, you know. So that's really what happened.
I mean, were you nervous when you went to the scouting meeting, the meeting, whatever?
Very.
Yeah.
I didn't eat.
Not even Chobani Yogurt.
Also, you know, I'm a plus size model and everybody there was a negative 000. Yeah. And so you're like, oh, okay. Even though I know that, you know, they wanted me for me and how I looked and everything, but it's also very intimidating when you're new to the industry because it's a very shady industry. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I was very nervous, but you know, she was great. She was very nice. And you know, that's how I started getting my gigs.
And you've been doing so well. What was it like to make a decision to leave Philadelphia and move to LA? And why did you decide to do that? And have you regretted that?
I will never regret it. It's the best decision I ever made. Honestly, had I not, I wouldn't be here doing the things that I'm doing. I made that decision because even though I had a great job, I was in title insurance. That was my day job. I had a great place. I had just bought a new car. I loved my neighborhood. I was down the street from my grandmother. I was, you know, 10 minutes away from my parents and my aunts. And, you know, I loved where I was, but I knew that if I didn't take a risk, that I wasn't going to grow in my musical career. At the time, I would work during the day, and then when I would get home, I would just do music stuff at night, whether it was social media or practicing with my band, trying to book shows, you know, reaching out to people, trying to get press. writing, recording, doing all that stuff. I would do it after I got off of work. And I got to a place where I just kind of hit a wall and I hit a ceiling because I knew all the major players in Philadelphia. I had sung at every single venue, every open mic night. I had done all of the things and I felt like I don't know if this is really going to go anywhere else other than where I'm taking it. So not thankfully, by the grace of God, coincidentally, my husband lived in Los Angeles. At the time, he was just my boyfriend. But I was like, you know what? I think it's time to make a move. And I literally was just like, listen, I'm going to put my 2 weeks into my job because that's how committed I am to leaving and trying to pursue this thing. I saved up a ton of money. I didn't go broke. And my last day at my job was that's when I shipped my car. And instead of having to put in 2 weeks, they ended up laying people off because the industry was tanking.
Yeah.
And because of that, you could volunteer to be laid off and you will get double the severance and unemployment. So I was like, excuse me. And I got extra money.
Yeah.
I was able to save extra money. I stayed at my parents' house for about 2 or 3 months to just even save more money.
Wow.
And then I left.
Wow.
Shipped my car. My last day at my job was my last day in my apartment. And that was it.
Wow.
I was gone.
And you haven't looked back. I mean, that's a great story. We always talk about on the radio show, like taking risks and knowing when it's time, knowing when, you need to move forward in terms of growth. And so to hear that, like, you listen to your inner, what Oprah would say, whisper.
Shout out to Oprah.
You listen to yourself. And it's kind of hard to do sometimes if you don't have that confidence to do so. And so you move out to LA, and did you find the transition hard or difficult, or what was it?
I was
what you expected?
Was I expected?
Well, no, was it what you expected?
Oh, not really. Thankfully, I had a cousin that was like, "Come stay at my house. Mm-hmm. You can stay here for as long as you need, and I don't have to pay rent or anything, right?" And also my boyfriend was out here. I had his group of friends. I had his church family, his community that he had built up himself, which made my transition that much easier because I don't really know what I would have done if I didn't have the connection of my husband's people, he threw me like a little party and I got to meet all his friends and everyone. I'm still very good friends with all these people to this day. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful for that because you can easily fall in with the wrong crowd, with the wrong crew and get in weird circles and it won't be good for you. But everyone that I've had the pleasure of meeting and being around for long periods of time, they're all amazing people. And that made my transition a lot easier. If I was just here and had to be like, okay, got to go to networking events and meet people without him by my side, it would have been tough. Honestly, I would have still done it, of course.
Yeah.
But it would have been way harder. And I'm just blessed that I had his group of friends that were very supportive and very nice to kind of ease me into Los Angeles. Also our church community, which is phenomenal, and our pastors, all of those people, they helped make my transition pretty seamless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I just think you're just a terrific and sweet and nice person. So I'm sure like you don't have a hard time attracting the right people, or at least repelling people who don't need to be in your space. I think repelling is as equally important as attraction.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Yes. On the next show. But yeah, I just, I've always thought you were a nice, kind person. And so
thank you.
Nice to hear that even through challenges and moving up in your career, that you remain who you are, which is kind. So what's next for Lydia René?
What's next is sippy cups and snack times. I'm just kidding. My daughter takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But in the evening after 8:30, when she goes to bed, that's when the magic happens. We're currently working on my next album.
Nice.
Finally, it's been such a long time coming, but we're doing that. Me and my husband are finally going back to doing our podcast, Bamadelphia. So
I saw earlier this week. Yeah, time runs together when you're at home. Like, I don't even know.
We're finally going back to it. We're going to be finally going back to it after we've come out under the 1 year of new parenthood. We're finally back in a routine where we can get some things done.
Briefly, tell the audience what your podcast or what your video broadcasts are about.
Okay. Essentially, it's me and my husband. He's from Alabama, Birmingham. I'm from New Jersey, but it's right next to Philadelphia. So he's Bama, I'm Delphia. We are Bamadelphia, and we're just trying to shine light on Black love and young marriage and show that it's not terrible. It can be fun. It can be great. We talk about music, pop culture, all the great stuff. And we just have fun and talk to our audience and try to show that marriage is cool. And that people actually like each other. It's not terrible. So that's really what we're trying to do.
Oh, I think it's a great representation, because I've watched some of the lives that you guys have done, and you're probably one of the only people that I've actually watched a complete live and participated with.
I appreciate it,
because it's nice, as you say, it's nice to see functional Black love, and
there it is.
That it's not, not that it's not out of the blue or out of the ordinary, but it's nice to have and see a working, functional couple who love each other, who support each other, who have fun together,
and we work together. Pray for us.
Work together. That's a lot of stuff together.
Yes, it is.
And y'all still smile, and so that's the only reason why I know Mr. Vickers is through these lives that you guys do. But I think it's really nice to see. And you see your daughter sometimes occasionally make cameos. So
screaming and hollering.
Yeah,
that's what she does best.
Hey, that's what babies do. So you have an album. You said you have an album coming up in.
Yes. So we're working on my next album. It's going to be more mature. Of course, there's still going to be love songs, because I'm addicted to love songs, but there's going to be more life songs and songs that reflect my recent experiences as a mother, as a wife, all of that great stuff. And also a new single that we're going to try to have out within the next coming weeks. About womanhood, about how important it is to own your womanhood, and not be afraid of your past and where you came from, because it made you who you are today.
Yeah, definitely a journey that we're looking forward to hearing. We all have that journey, and it's better to embrace it than to hate it and reject it and feel bad about it. Showing up in this world authentically. So we can't wait to hear that project. Let me know. We can have you back, and then we'll absolutely. I will have you do that little sight reading thing. That's gonna be fun. And I might pull out my piano too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but so we're gonna go. But I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great.
And letting us know about everything that you've been doing. Like I said, can you sing that part from Coming to America before we go? because that's my favorite. Like,
Sure.
okay, so Lydia René from Coming to America, and it's called "To Be Loved." That's the title track, right? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, what is it called? That's all. That's all I remember is "To Be Loved." So,
Okay. Someone to miss, someone to kiss. When you're away, to hear from each day, to be loved, to be loved. Whoa, what a feeling to be loved.
ooh, that's so good. Like, if I had that voice, like, I would be ordering hamburgers like that, like burger number 5. like I would be singing all the time. Like,
Jesus help us all.
yes. Okay. One more question. Did you get any complaints from your neighbors when you were putting stuff together, or when you're like singing in your apartment?
No, at the time we were at another place that was much smaller. So we only had like 4 neighbors. It was a very small building. But it was new construction and you really can't hear anything. The worst part was what was happening outside. People couldn't hear us, but we could hear what was happening outside. And there was always this man with a leaf blower at 12 to 2 a.m. And we're just like, why are you leaf blowing at 12 a.m. and there's no leaves? I mean, I don't know. That's what happens when you live in the ghetto.
Maybe that's
God
what
we
we
left.
were.
He didn't want us to be great, but we made it. No, nobody heard us because I definitely never heard any of my neighbors. That was the one good thing about that place. The walls were extremely thick and brand new, but we heard the leaf blower, man.
Nice. So no strange looks when you walk out of your apartment, like, okay.
No, are you kidding? The stuff they were doing. That's another show. Another show.
Another show. You have to come back at night for that one. Well, Lydia René, stay with me. We're going to end now, but thank you so much for watching. For joining me here.
Yes.
And taking your time to talk about everything that you've been doing.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This is
the first time ever in 17 years that we've been connecting on social media. We've actually talked. Like,
it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you sometime soon. I don't know. I'm working on a lot of stuff, but we'll see you. Bye.